Alright, hello everyone, it's Nigel here, and today I have got another movie review for you today. So, ladies and gentlemen, we almost conclude the Infinity Saga with Avengers Endgame. Now, apparently, we're still not done with the Infinity Saga, because apparently Far From Home is actually the end to the Infinity Saga. Not this big climactic ending movie that wraps all this stuff up and brings all these people back. No, apparently it is Far From Home. Now, look, like I've said before, and I'll say it again. Those of you who know me know I'm a huge fan of Spider-Man, and Mysterio I like. I think he's kind of an interesting villain. He does look kind of ridiculous, but he's kind of cool at the same time. But this honestly should have been the end of the Infinity Saga. This big, incredible conclusion to it where all this stuff wraps up. This big battle, this nice long movie, but we're not quite done yet. So, unfortunately, until I watch Far From Home, I'm not able to do my Infinity Saga retrospective just yet. But in the meantime, as I take a sip of water here, in the meantime, as always, am not a professional. I'm not a professional movie reviewer or anything like that. Just a man who enjoys a good time. And I kind of gave away in my little opening rant there that I definitely had a good time watching this movie, seeing what honestly this feels like, even if it's not the conclusion, even though it's technically not the conclusion of the Infinity Saga, it really feels like the conclusion. And they do all they need to do. They beat the bad guy. Hey, they beat the big baddie that they've been alluding to since at least like 2012, at least since the first Avengers movie. They beat him. They won, but it's not over yet in terms of that. But that's neither here nor there. Let's get into the review. So, obviously, we're gonna talk about what I liked, what I didn't like, and for starters, here's what I liked. It's a nice long movie. This is about 3 hours, 5 minutes, although you probably subtract like maybe 10, 15 minutes of that for like the credits and everything, which were very touching, especially the one for Robert Downey Jr. But you take away that, but you still got a really nice lengthy movie. Obviously, it's the longest MCU movie to date, and definitely so, because a lot of stuff gets wrapped up, a lot of stuff gets resolved. Pretty much all the characters are there that have been throughout the MCU, even though the roster is a lot smaller at the beginning, because we see them first a couple weeks after they lost to Thanos in Infinity War, and then 5 years after they lost to Thanos in Infinity War. Or there's this like somber mood type thing where they feel like they lost. Thor straight kills Thanos. He went for the head that time. They chopped off his arm first, and then they went for the head, which, now that I think about it, Thor probably should have did in Infinity War, or before Thanos used the stone. When Thor got there, or before Thanos had a chance to snap his fingers, Thor should have taken Stormbreaker, just whoa, chopped off his arm. But of course, we didn't get that. And Thor kills Thanos. Everything's despondent until Ant-Man appears trapped inside the van, stuck in the quantum realm. And discovers everything that's going on. Suggests a time heist where they go back in time to a lot of big moments where all the Infinity Stones are. They gather them, but Thanos shows up because Nebula from the past, 2014 Nebula, who's in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, he takes out current Nebula and brings her family here. But 2014 Gamora turns on Nebula, and Thanos joins up, and everybody comes back after Hulk reverses the snap with a snap of his own. Everyone comes back. Big battle. Thanos' army is wiped out after the second snap by Iron Man. So this big climactic, just everything, and a lot of stuff is wrapped up. A lot of arcs that have been there, a lot of a lot of the threads that had to be pulled are wrapped up. A lot of people will show up. We see the ancient one, on which it's revealed that she knew that Doctor Strange was going to become Doctor Strange, and him giving up the time stone to Thanos, it turns out was intentional. It was part of that vision and everything, and it does go about explaining a lot of the stuff we saw in Infinity War, or some stuff that some people may had problems with. I feel like some of the stuff here in Endgame was pretty much just to like shut those people up. So as I take a sip of water here. For starters, there's Star-Lord, the big one. Star-Lord ruined the plan. Here's the thing, though, and actually, he lets go into Doctor Strange as well, because he wasn't supposed to give up the Time Stone to Thanos, but he did. But here's the thing, in Infinity War, or when Doctor Strange went about seeing in all the alternate futures, seeing which ones they won and everything, and that means that everything, because there's only one future they ended up winning, which I may find a little hard to believe, but sure. But when Doctor Strange went to see those futures, he saw one where they ended up winning, meaning everything that happened was that future, because the Avengers end up winning. They beat Thanos, they kill Thanos. Thanos dies twice. That's what you get for killing Vision twice. But all the stuff that happened and allowed the Avengers to win, which meant that Star-Lord hoofing up and letting his emotions get the better of him and striking Thanos rather than blasting him was the best course of action. How Thanos would have still been able to use the stones even if Star-Lord had blasted him, or if they had gotten the gauntlet off him and Star-Lord didn't do anything. Maybe we'll never know, but yeah, so that was all the best course of action, which is why the Ancient One, when Bruce Banner told her about it, it handed him the time stone and everything. So a lot of stuff they go about wrapping up, and it really feels like, this is why I say, hey, this really feels like the conclusion to the Infinity Saga, because all this stuff gets wrapped up. There's a lot of these things that are, a lot of the loose ends are tied up. They beat Thanos. They, hey, no pun intended, avenge their loss from 5 years ago. Oh, a lot of the families are reunited after the snap and everything, and for hands and everything else. Iron Man goes out a hero, in this like blaze of glory, pretty much using the stones to get rid of Thanos' army. Iron Man sacrifices himself, and everything's restored for the most part. So honestly, it really does feel like this should be the end of the Infinity Saga, because they won. And the thing is, with them going about explaining where the stones were, which is stuff we caught on to, and the fact that we were able to catch on to, oh, these are the stones that are going to be with Thanos and everything, and that they're actually referenced here, and then they go back to those points. It really goes back to the world building that was already present. And the thing about the MCU, which a lot of people like, myself included, is that they do the homework, they do the prep work at the beginning, so that they don't have to explain it away later. There's a scene explaining where the stones are here, but that's more so for the people who just showed up. But for the rest of us, we knew this stuff already. We already knew where the stones were, or we knew where the stones were, what was happening and stuff. So this was pretty much just their way of drawing the conclusion to all of this. And then not just the ends, but the new beginnings, with Falcon becoming Captain America after Captain America pretty much decided to have that dance with Peggy Carter that he didn't get to have, and then the Avengers without Iron Man, and then Thor's with the Guardians of the Galaxy now, which that Thor, honestly, one of the funniest parts of the movie, but also one of the most tragic, because he feels like he messed up when he killed Thanos and didn't have the opportunity to stop Thanos the first time, and and it weighs on him, and you can see it in his like later when he becomes Fat Thor and everything, and a lot of people kind of I feel like write it off as just him being comedic. Fat Thor is just funny stuff. He drinks a lot, he's on video games, he's arguing with new Master 69 and stuff like that. But if you really go between the layers, it's a really tragic story if you think about it. But he gets to avenge his loss. The Guardians, for the most part, reunited, except Gamora, because it was 2014. Didn't know who the rest of the Guardians were. Although, considering that the other Nebula, the one from the future, one who allied with the Avengers, was kidnapped, and they were going through her memories to see where the stones are, shouldn't she have had at least some knowledge of like being with the Guardians of the Galaxy? Because Nebula was captured by the Guardians, and she's on their ship in Guardians Volume 2. So shouldn't Gamora put two and two together and like, oh yeah, so looks like I end up with that team? And she kind of references it when she attacks Star-Lord, who he has no idea that she's not the Gamora he knows, at least not anymore. But yeah, so a lot of wrap up, a lot of closing they have to do, because it really feel like the end of the saga. But apparently Spider-Man is the end, so I'll have to watch that before I do my Infinity Saga retrospective. But a lot of that, but I liked a lot of that. A lot of the heroes that were still there, or you could tell there was a mix of sadness, but also some hope sprinkled in, and of course Captain America stepping up to be the leader and everything, which is funny now. 2 movie reviews in a row with Chris Evans. We see him before as Human Torch when he was much younger, but then we see him here as Captain America, and honestly, in my opinion, maybe you'll disagree with me on this, and that's fine, but honestly, he does a much better job as Captain America. Captain America definitely, he didn't do bad as Human Torch. He got the gist of Human Torch for the most part. He did alright as him, but he definitely did a lot better as Captain America. And, of course, Michael B. Jordan did a lot better as Eric Killmonger. So, yeah, both redemptions for both the Human Torches. And of course the final battle with everyone being there, with the exception of the people who by that point had passed away and everything. But other than that, everyone being there for the fight and everything. And, absolutely awesome to see. And this big epic battle, all these characters interacting with each other and everything. And yeah, so really awesome stuff. Now, in terms of what I didn't like about the movie, and this may be a bit nitpicky, there was just a couple things, but honestly, it didn't hurt my enjoyment of it too much. For starters, it kind of negated the Captain Marvel post-credit scene, where she shows up with the shorter haircut saying, where's Nick Fury? But by the time she gets a shorter haircut in Endgame, she already met up with the Avengers and everything. He brings back the Milano, which Nebula and Iron Man are on. And so she already meets them, and by the time she has the short hair, the shorter haircut and everything, she's already with the Avengers doing stuff. So it kind of negated that. I feel like some of the aspects of time travel do get a little muddy. Like, for example, Nebula, present day, shoots 2014 Nebula and kills her, but shouldn't that also kill modern Nebula? Maybe I'm thinking too far into it. Maybe that's actually not how time travel works, but there's that, but honestly, and the fact that it is 2014 Gamora, I know they can't bring back other Gamora, but the fact that now we have this 2014 Gamora running around in present day, but maybe they'll resolve that by the time we get to Guardians Volume 3. And of course, Black Widow's death is really sad stuff, but I understand why she died, and the way people were saying it, like, because this movie was kind of spoiled by the time it came out. The way people were saying it felt like Hawkeye kind of just straight up yeeted her off the cliff in Boromir, pretty much to get the Soul Stone. But no, he was really fighting with her about who's gonna die for this stone, and she just dies, and Hawkeye's like crushed and stuff about it because that's his best friend. That's his like that's his homie. That's absolute close friend, and more of that world building. But that's why I love this movie so much. It's world building, essentially coming to this fitting conclusion, and but yeah. So, I will watch Spider-Man: Far From Home. To be honest, yeah, it's not the end, but I'm not gonna be too upset about. I wanted to watch Far From Home anyway. I heard it was still a really solid movie, so. Oh, obviously, I'm still gonna watch it, and it's an MCU movie. That's my goal, to watch the entire MCU, or at least the whole Infinity Saga. So, Far From Home, I'll likely watch sometime next week, and then later on next week we'll do the Infinity Saga retrospective. Basically, how that's gonna work is I'm gonna talk about my thoughts on the Infinity Saga and everything, and my favorite movies, my least favorite movies, favorite characters, least favorite characters, some of the bright spots, some of the lowlights of the Infinity Saga, and where do I think the MCU is gonna go from there. But the other thing I want to bring up is that, well, first of all, I'm going to be live again on Twitch tonight streaming the Spyro Reignite trilogy. We are all, at least the first Spyro Reignited game. We're almost done, ladies and gentlemen. We're on like the second to last world, the Dreamweaver's world. So we're almost done. So you can follow me on Twitch. My username is ndiddy19, and so follow me there on Twitch. And the other thing is System Shock Radio. The next episode of System Shock Radio, episode 60, where I'm going to be talking about the video game Crash. That I'm actually going to move to Sunday, only because today I still got a bunch of stuff that I have to do, and tomorrow I'm going to be totally booked because I'm graduating tomorrow, so I'm going to be busy almost all day tomorrow, and most of the day today, so I'm going to be busy those days. Hey, so Sunday, it will be out for you guys. But yeah, so thanks for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and everything. And yeah, so I will see you guys later. Peace.